Hi, Jason Hanson here. I'm a former CIA officer, and in this training, I'm going to share with you non-detectable knives in non-permissive environments. So how to make a non-detectable knife. Now, of course, I'm going to give you the disclaimer, do not do anything illegal. This is for informational purposes only. You know, if you do anything illegal, you deserve what you get. Non-detectable knives are illegal in some states, California, for instance, but of course, everything's illegal in California. So make sure you know your state laws. I live in the free state of Utah, where it doesn't matter if it's a non-detectable / non-metallic knife. I can carry whatever I want. But New York, California, again, I can't keep up with all the laws. So know your state laws and never, ever, ever, ever do anything illegal. So let me tell you some hypothetical stories, purely hypothetical. When would somebody in the intelligence operative business need a non-detectable knife? Well, I'll tell you two stories, hypothetical. Remember, these are purely made up. Story number one, let's say you are trying to recruit a low-level mafia guy. So let's say you're a US government intelligence officer, and maybe you're over in Russia, and you're trying to recruit some low-level guy, and your goal is to recruit this guy to hopefully get to the bigger fish, right? To have him spill secrets so you can get to the guy that the US government really wants. And these are mafia guys, and they obviously run with a dangerous crowd, and they have a restaurant in their country, which is their favorite place to go. But to get in this restaurant, you have to go through a metal detector. So intelligence operatives, you always want to have some type of gear on you. You're never walking in completely, without nothing. Maybe it's a plastic razor blade, or, plastic something you made, which we're going to show you today, and it's in the collar of your shirt. Maybe it's stuff right here in your pants, which we'll talk about. But you want to have, again, some type of weapon, something on you. So you are going to dinner with this mafia guy. You know you're going to be going through the metal detector, and you want to have some type of weapon on to protect yourself because you're going to be surrounded by a rougher crowd. So that's when you might need a non-detectable knife on you. I'll tell you another story. Hypothetical, remember. Let's say, again, you're a U.S. intelligence officer, and you need to get some secrets about a government overseas. And you need to know exactly what their plans are for, and I'm trying to be very vague on this one, for something they're doing that might be very, very bad. So perhaps you find out there's a secretary that works in this government office, and this secretary has those critical documents passed through her hands as she passes them to her boss. Now, in the intelligence business, you can't walk right up to the secretary and say, hey, lady, I'll give you $1 million. All you've got to do is hand me these documents. Yay, nay. Obviously that's not how it works. But for our purely hypothetical story that we're talking about, maybe you spend 3 years recruiting this secretary over the long cycle of recruiting her to work with the US. And after 3 years of you recruiting her, wining and dining her, etc., she agrees that you can get copies of this document. However, she's not going to walk out with them, in her purse or in her, backpack or whatever, because she gets caught with them, she's going to be put to death. So what she says is, hey, these documents pass through my hands, and they may be sitting on my desk for an hour sometimes before my boss gets them. And in fact, a Tuesday in the coming future, he always has this appointment where they're always sitting on my desk for at least an hour. And perhaps if you come in there into my office when I've stepped out, you can photograph and make copies of these documents. So how does that happen? Well, this is a government building. There's a government building overseas. This secretary in our hypothetical story, yes, I'm going to keep saying that, she props open a back door for you. You go in, you see the documents there, you make the copies, and you're able to get out. However, that's a very, very dangerous situation because obviously if you get caught, it may not look good, so you want to have some type of weapon, but you're going through a metal detector to get in this government building, so you can't have a regular knife or gun or anything else. So with that being said, kind of with that overview, I'm going to show you several different types of knives / stabbing weapons that you can make. They will not be detected by metal. They are for non-permissive environments. And this video, informational purposes only, don't ever, ever, ever do anything illegal. But I'm going to show you over a dozen things, and you pick and choose what you like. The whole purpose of this is to get your brain thinking, to get the wheels spinning, to say, hey, maybe I like this, maybe I don't like that. So there's going to be plenty of options on here. So let's jump right into it. First, this is my wand. You've probably seen these wands, by airport and other places, simply a metal detector wand. So right now I have my belt on. Obviously, if I was going through a non-permissive environment, I would have a belt with no metal in it. Just to show you that this bad boy works. So this is what I'm going to use to show you throughout the day of, hey, is this really non-metallic? Could I really get this into a foreign place overseas? We're gonna need this, so I'm just gonna put this down on the ground here so it keeps, or doesn't keep going off. So there's no random order in here. I've got a variety of things. Some are easier to make, some take a little longer, so to each his own. We'll start here. This is simply a wooden stake. This will not be my first choice, but in crazy situations, you go with whatever works for you. So you can't be picky. So I took the wooden stake. All I did is snap it off, and then anybody that was a Boy Scout, I happen to be an Eagle Scout, you remember whittling, so let me throw this down here, as you whittle your wood until you get a nice sharp edge. So it may not look like much, but this could do some serious damage. If I were using this, I would have it right in here somewhere in my belt line. Obviously, my shirt would be covering it, and if I needed to come out with it, I'm gonna come out here, grab it, and I'm coming out in the areas where it's gonna affect a human being. What does that mean? That means the eyes. I don't care who you are. I don't care how strong you are. If I come out and jab you in the eyes, you're gonna protect yourself. You're gonna be in extreme pain when you hit with this. That's gonna give me a chance to escape and get out of the building or get out of the dangerous place I'm in. Same thing with the throat. Throat is incredibly sensitive. If you take your 2 fingers right now and you stick them right here in the bottom of your throat and press in, it'll make you feel like you're gonna gag and throw up. So if I was pulling this out in a dangerous situation, I could go pop, pop, 2 very quick strikes, one in the eye, one in the throat. I could follow it up with a knee. I could grab and follow it with a headbutt, do whatever I wanted. So obviously it's not just enough to know, hey, you know, how do I make one of these, but how to defend yourself. I highly recommend you get a free copy of the Rat Fight book from the guy that trained the Navy SEALs. You can see the link here on the page, so go to that if you want to get more self-defense stuff. But you've got to know how to use these bad boys. This has some plastic, or this has some electrical tape around it just to give me a better grip. And just to show you, I went out and bought some cantaloupe and watermelon and things. I mean, this does not have any trouble going right into it. So imagine that was somebody's throat. Imagine if that was somebody's eye. Not going to feel very good. This is probably the simplest of the things. And again, this would not be high on my list. I'd only use it if all I could find was wood and I was in a real hurry and it was kind of a last minute type of thing. So let's put this down. Let's see, where do we want to go next? Well, we'll go here. I like this one. So you can go online and you can buy plastic sheets, right? You can buy plexiglass, you can buy ABS plastic, all kind of plastic. So this is just a plastic sheet that I bought online. I took some cardboard, and when I say cardboard, I'll show you, let me cut this off here so you can see what I did. From the 8 million packages that your wife orders every single week, or maybe it's just my wife, take one of those Amazon boxes, cut it up just like this, and this is actually a little too big, but what you do is you wrap, when I took my piece of plastic, you wrap it in here over and over and over and over again until you get your handle. Obviously a knife would be protruding out of this. For this, to make this plastic sheet, this right here in my hand is a metal knife. It is my knock knife, N-O-C knife. If you go to knockknife.com, you can see it. It's a knife built for intelligence operatives, but this is for situations where you're allowed to have metal, meaning you don't have to worry about going through a metal detector. All I did was take this knife, I put it on the sheet of plastic, I just cut an outline using some snips. I got what you see here, and then I wrap cardboard around it, wrap the electrical tape around it, and this will do some damage. If I come out and slice, again, if I come out and throw in your eyes or punch in your eyes, if I come out and go to your throat, it's not going to feel very good at all. And hopefully, is the camera picking this up? Hopefully the camera can see this because it is relatively clear plastic. Same thing, I would have it down my pants. I like having it down my pants here because it's easily accessible, meaning I can pull it right up, I can do it overhand, I can do it regular, it doesn't matter, whatever's comfortable for you. And then I can come out and I go boom, boom, I can go like this. I mean, there's many options. Again, we're not going to get into self-defense here. Get the Rat Fight book if you want it. But buying sheets of plexiglass or ABS plastic or whatever you're going to buy and then just cutting it out, it is a wonderfully easy way to make a non-detectable weapon here. So let's get that over out of here. Let's see, where else we want to go next? Let's go to these. These are elk antlers. So elk antlers, a lot of people use them for dog toys or dog chews. So if you go online and you search like dog chew elk antler, you'll find what we're looking at here. This is one that I've not sharpened down yet. This is one in my hand that I have sharpened down. Same thing, it's, you know, hold it overhand, underhand, doesn't matter, whatever's gonna work for you, boom, boom. These are tiny, very easy to conceal. And the tip, I've had to sharpen, meaning I've had to take my knife and I've whittled it down. And so somebody, when I was doing a live training on this, said, hey, that doesn't look too sharp. And I said, okay, well, let me put it through your eye or let me put it in your throat. Obviously, they did not agree. So if I come down and I do that, look how easily that sinks in there. So great weapon, an Elk Antler, dog chew toy kind of thing, will absolutely do some damage. Now I gotta pull it out here. So don't let it fool you. And this one is so great because it doesn't look like anything, meaning it doesn't even look that sharp, even though you just saw the damage it can do. So it's a very good one if you're trying to have nothing on you that, looks obvious at all, like it might be a knife. So consider adding that to your arsenal. Okay, this is a fun one. Sometimes you just want weapons that hide in plain sight, meaning you don't want something that is sitting here in your pants. And actually, I just looked down, forget about this bad boy. I want to show you the weapons. I want to prove to you. So this is the knife we talked about, the piece of plastic, nothing there that is metallic. Let me see what else I threw in here. We have the wooden stake. Nothing metallic. We have the Elk Antler, nasty stabbing weapon, nothing metallic. And just to show you, I have, this is an acrylic sheet cutter, it's metal. I just didn't open it because I don't need this one, but show you that this thing is still working. So let me put this back on the ground. Going back to weapons in plain sight. Sometimes you may not want to have it stuffed in your pants. Maybe you want to have something that is sitting, let's say, on your desk. Or maybe you want to have them all over your kitchen and people have no idea that a weapon's actually there. Of course, you've seen these. These are spatulas. These are, just to prove it real quick, completely non-metallic. These are made of rubber and plastic. Oh, no, that was my ring. Yep, that was my ring. Okay, so yeah, these are non-metallic. Now, here is the beauty of this rubber spatula. It is a weapon hiding in plain sight. Why? Well, I've already turned it into a weapon. So if I take the top off, hopefully the camera can pick up that nasty, nasty sharp edge. And once again, all I did was take my knife, like back in the day from the Boy Scouts, and I sat there whittling over and over. This takes some time. It's not gonna happen in, a few seconds. It's gonna take 10 to 15 minutes to do it. But just because I want to use something else that I bought, this nasty sharp spike now, I mean, it goes in incredibly quickly. That actually went in way too far. So it doesn't take much to have that go in. And obviously the eyes, the throat, I'm going to keep mentioning that because those are the places on the body where if you've got to take a attacker down quickly that you want to utilize. Of course, once I'm done with my job, I can put it back here, clean it off, and then it's back to a normal spatula. So this is one that I haven't done yet. Get the top off that one. So you can see how it looked before. Just a plastic end, nothing fancy about it. Put the top on, and then we have the super incredibly sharp dagger where I can hold it this way and come out and pop. So, in prison terms, this is called a poker. Prison guys are obviously great at making shanks. The thing is, in prison, they don't have to make the non-detectable weapons because they're already in prison. So they're having them smuggled in, or they're taking the razor blades out of the razor and putting it in the back of the toothbrush and slicing people. So all their stuff, they're taking things out of the bed springs. So their stuff is metallic because, again, they're already in prison. But for us, operating in non-permissive environments, we've got to make sure nothing's metal. So consider things like these, which are weapons that can absolutely hide in plain sight, completely non-metallic. This is a fun one. You're gonna like this one. What in the world am I holding up? I know that's what you're wondering. So this is some plexiglass. It's pretty darn thick, as you can see. I believe it's a 1/4 inch thick. I will neither confirm nor deny that I have carried this all over the world and I've been in many government buildings in it. So what the heck is this thing, right? What am I looking at? Well, plexiglass, you can sharpen it. You can buy thick sheets of plexiglass and turn it into a knife, which anybody can do. But in our case, I call this bad boy, and I'll show you the black one so it's easier to see. I call this bad boy the micro spy. Why? Well, look at the head here. It's a spy. So, it's a spy, it's his coat, spy versus spy type of thing. So again, I will neither confirm nor deny that of all the places I've taken this, that only one time have I ever been stopped and asked about it. And I said, oh, can't you see it's a spy? I'm a big James Bond fan. And, buddy gave me this a James Bond good luck item. Got right in, hypothetically, was able to continue to do what I needed to do. This plastic is incredibly sharp. The micro spy, I hold the handle here. All these different tips here you see are very, very nasty. You can do some serious damage. So let me see what I want to cut here. So if I come here and I just do that, you can see the gashes. Now imagine if that was your skin or somebody else's skin. That is going to do, not good stuff to them. Funny story. So somebody I trained got one of these for me, and he was going to the VA hospital. He had to get some surgery. And he said a buddy of his was driving him to the VA hospital because after the surgery, he couldn't drive home. And he said he was driving at the time and his buddy was in the seat and he had this sitting in the console of the car, and his buddy picked it up and said, hey, what the heck heck is this? And he goes, oh, it's this, thing we call the microspy. It's a self-defense tool, and, told him the whole story. And he goes, this doesn't look sharp. And he went like that on his own hand, ripped open his skin. And my buddy said, jokingly, it was a good thing we were going to the VA hospital because, he had a nasty gash. So this is not a toy. This is something that can do, as you can see, some very serious damage. This is another beautiful item that hides in plain sight. Because when people ask you, again, I like spy stuff, I'm a James Bond fan, that's all it is. I will neither conform nor deny that I've been all over the world on airplanes, on government buildings, and everywhere with this bad boy. This is a clear version just because, hey, why not? Black, if you're wanting clear and you want to hide it in your pants and have it stick out even less, then you can do it that way. Okay, and of course, I'm gonna show you, but I gotta make sure we don't go near my ring, completely non-metallic. Because if we go by my ring will set it off. All right, let's see what else I have on the table of fun for you. This is a simple one I'm about to show you. What in the world am I holding up? This is just a carpenter's pencil. You've probably seen these. What I like to say is it is a pencil on steroids. The beauty of these things is all you've got to do is take the pencil sharpener comes with it, spin it in here for about 60 seconds, and out comes this. A incredibly sharp point. The beauty of this, if you want to use it, all you're doing is putting your thumb on the back, your cap on the top. That way, if you have to use it, it's not going to slide in your hand because your thumb's in top. This will do some serious damage. This is about the cheapest, easiest non-detectable items that you can get, because I'm just going to take off my ring. That way I don't have to worry about, probably never see it again, and my wife will wonder where my ring went. But this is one of the easiest non-detectable items to make. You can see completely non-metallic, this pencil. Very, very sharp. This here, away from that. Same thing, if I have to do damage, it goes right in. Another version of this, if you just wanted to have a better handle, this again is a carpenter's pencil. It's already been sharpened to have a very nasty point. All I did was take one of those painting rolls, and you can see that I've taped it to it. That way I have a much firmer grip, a larger grip. Maybe I'm just going somewhere really bad, and I want to make sure that I want to have the firmest grip possible. I don't want the pencil to slip through my hands. I may just have here, and then keep it like that. It's a larger area for me to grab in case I got to come out, in case I got to do some damage. This all goes back to be as creative as you want, but carpenter pencils are a very simple non-metallic weapon that you can make. Let's jump around to plastic forks, plastic knives, plastic whatever you want, plastic spoons. Now, the easiest thing to do with these, and what I've done here, is take two forks. All you're gonna do is tape them together. So you can see that I've taped it together here. Then you're gonna take your cigarette lighter, and I know I got one somewhere here, so just take a regular big cigarette lighter or whatever you have, and you're gonna melt the end of these. Okay, you don't have to hold it on the end for very long. This is something actually guys in prison do more often. So they're gonna melt the end of these. Then you got to find some type of concrete, metal, or concrete or stone. So once I had this heated, all I'm going to do is go back and forth. I'm going to do this a few times to make sure I've got a nice sharp end, and then I can stab somebody. It goes right in there, as you can see. So kind of like the wooden stake that I said, wouldn't be my first choice of things. The fork wouldn't be my first choice either. However, if this is all I've got, then yeah, you better believe I don't want to go in empty-handed. I want to have some type of weapon on me that I'll tape these together, I'll melt them, I'll make them nice and sharp, because it's still not going to feel good at all if somebody's on the receiving end of this. So let me throw those this way, and of course, just so I have an excuse to use my wand, of course, no metal and a plastic fork. Nothing that is going to set it off at all. So let's put those in there. And coming down our list, all right, you know what this is. Flipping our hamburgers with it, flipping our pancakes. There's an issue with it though. If I take my metal wand, what happens here? There's metal at the very end of this, right? However, if I go here, no metal. So let me show you what you do if you get one of these. Put it over here. These are the snips. You just go to any home improvement store and get some of these snips. So I know that this part's metal. So what am I gonna do? Well, I can't use, this metal part. I'm kind of up the creek without a paddle. So you can basically cut the end of this, because remember, the end of this is the non-metallic part. And you can turn it anything you want. All I did was just cut off the angle just so I had something sharp. Again, you can see how sharp it is. So you're gonna play in this end here. You're obviously not gonna use the handle because we already determined there's metal in that. But this piece of plastic in these snips, you can kind of, do whatever you want. You could obviously snip something longer, something sharper. Just for demo purposes, I made this triangle, which if I slash somebody, it's not gonna feel good at all. So there's plastic everywhere. When you're walking through your local grocery store and you see some kind of cooking utensil, think, how could I turn that into a non-permissive environment weapon in a worst case scenario? So let me shove that up there. Going down the line. All right, this is a good one. This right here is a piece of a bucket. I'll show you the piece of a bucket it is from, if I can get it out. So this is just a 5-quart bucket, nothing fancy. You can see how all I did is take my snips, I cut out here. I've now got a nice sharp stabbing / slashing object. I took my cardboard and then I wrapped an electrical tape around the cardboard. So I've got a nice firm grip. I can come out and slash, I can come out and stab. I can do various things, I would hold it here, not gonna be seen. My shirt would go under it. I come here, I can grab it this way, come out, I can do the overhand grab or reverse grip, whatever you're comfortable with. So this is a nice, weapon that you're gonna do more slashing with this, because the end, this is a cheaper bucket, is not gonna be the world's sharpest thing. I mean, obviously if you stab it in somebody's eye, they're gonna feel it, but it's more for slashing here. And of course, this is a thinner plastic type of bucket. This lid is actually thicker, so you could buy a 5-gallon bucket, which has thicker plastic, or you can just buy one of these lids. And take me a minute here. Let me get it. There we go. Cut around there. Just want to cut a piece out. Finish this off. And obviously, if I were making a non-permissive weapon, I would be spending a lot more time on this. Sharpen this end. All right, good enough. Good enough for showing you real quick. Not super sharp, right? Doesn't look nasty, but if I slash somebody with that, if I took off this piece, let me cut off this piece. This looks like the world's most, boring piece of cheap plastic. I hold it here, I come out like that. It is gonna do some damage. It will not feel good. Now, if I were building it for real and taking more time, all I'd do is I would take my knife, which we talked about, I'd put it in the middle here, and I would take the time to use my snips to cut it around there. I'd wrap it in cardboard, and then I'd wrap it in electrical tape, and I would have a much thicker piece of plastic like this that would become a nasty slashing and stabbing weapon. So think about using 5-gallon buckets or other buckets, and of course think about using the lid, which is also very nice thick plastic. Okay, let's see. Let me get these buckets out of the way so I have more space with everything. This one's a no-brainer. 10 steaks, right? 10 steaks, completely plastic, no metal at all in these 10 steaks. The beauty is, you don't have to do very much work. You can see this one right here. This is a regular 10 steak. This one right here is the one that I made. All I did is I took my knife and I'm whittling the end to make it sharper, just chipping away plastic. So not much work needs to be done. Beauty of these is very, very sharp, but also the beauty of these is they've got this, it curves around at the end, so I can actually clip it on my pants if I want to. And for some reason, you were worried about it sliding down your pants or whatever, you just clip it right on. It's not going to go anywhere. You draw it out, you pop somebody in the face, do what you need to do. So this is another very simple one because 15 seconds and you've taken this version and turned it into this nasty weapon, which is very sharp, which can do a lot of damage. So consider that one. We get the 10 steak over here. It's kind of similar to the 10 steak or what I'm holding in my hands. Plastic nails, plastic stakes. The exact same premise of the 10 steak I just showed you. Here are, in my left hand, are the ones I bought, right? Pretty sharp at the end. In my right hand is the one that I sharpened. So you can see how much more nastier it is, how much sharper. And this was another about 15 to 20 second job. So the beauty of the 10 steaks, they have this end, I can cap it, I can come out, do what I need to do. If for some reason you say to yourself, and again, we're going more kind of in depth here, hey, I don't want to have this just sitting in my pants. There are plenty of companies that make sticky holsters, right? That you can wear inside your pants. So you take one of these sticky holsters and you shove that sticky holster in your pants because you're worried about stabbing yourself. Then you take your non-permissive weapon and you put it in there, and there you go. Now you've got your sticky holster with your non-permissive knife or weapon in there. Heaven forbid, push comes to shove, coming out, I'm drawing it, popping out just like this. So plastic, to prove to you again, completely plastic, nail / steak here. Nothing that is going to set this bad boy off. And to show you that this bad boy is still working, see? Gonna go off with my knife every time. All right, so let me take out that sticky holster, but just something to consider if you wanna not accidentally stab yourself or take the chance of accidentally stabbing yourself. Toothbrushes. So guys in prison, what they'll do is the end, they will put the razor blade from the razor in it and they'll walk around and they'll just slash somebody, and the guy who got slashed may not even realize he got slashed until somebody tells him he's bleeding or he feels the blood or sees the blood dripping on the floor. So it's a quick kind of that. But we're not in prison, and hopefully never will be in prison because you're not going to do anything illegal. We're not going to do what the prisoners do or the guys in prison do, right? With our toothbrush, we're going to do something that takes no time at all, super simple. All you're going to do using your snips is cut off the very head. So see how I cut off my head at the angle? Can you see that nasty point there? Now the beauty of this is another one that can hide in plain sight, meaning you've seen those cases where you can kind of hold your toothbrushes or hold the end of the toothbrush. You can put this in one of those cases. This, same thing, eyes, throat, very, very sharp. I'm like filling up this this watermelon over here, so we'll do something new. I mean, it's nasty. It is very sharp. It is very thick plastic, and all you're doing is, I'm not going to ruin this one. I may use this later. All you're doing is cutting off the head right here at an angle, and you end up with this bad boy right here. So super simple, takes no time at all to make. So let me throw my toothbrush out of the way. Going down the line, have I overwhelmed you yet? Or hopefully I've gotten the brain thinking. You've all seen these. These are plastic putty knives. You can buy these in any home improvement store. Completely plastic putty knives. It's my belt again. So there's nothing metallic in here at all. Now, the beauty of these plastic knives is they already have a grip. So all I did, this came from this, meaning I took my snips, you can see I cut it at an angle. I already have a handle built in. So I can come right out and immediately go for stabbing, slashing, whatever I want to do. See that one? Go in just like that. Now, if you want a better grip, the reason I have rags here and the reason I have paper towels is you can just wrap a paper towel or a rag around one of these, and then once you wrap it around, you would just throw a bunch of electrical tape, duct tape, whatever you have, and it just gives you a firm, beefier grip if that is something you wanted to have. Now for this weapon, all you are literally doing, and I'll show you right now, this just happens to be another one I picked up. I'm taking my snips, I'm snipping, 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 let it fall off. I'm snipping, 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 and abracadabra. Now I have a nasty sharp point that I gotta find a place to stab it, that'll go in there. So this is one of those super, super quick weapons, kind of like the toothbrush that I just showed you, where all you're doing is snip in the end. So that is something you can make very, very quickly. I got a few more gadgets and gizmos that I want to show you on my table, and my stuff is leaking everywhere. One of them is a miniature tent stake. So miniature tent stakes, I love these things. This is about 3 inches long, or a ground stake, not necessarily tent stake, ground stake, whatever you want to use it for. It's got the, excuse me, it's got the curve here. So if I was worried it going down my pants, I put it over my pants just like that. I can come out. All I had to do was take my knife and whittle down the end just a little bit there, and it becomes a heck of a lot sharper. This is one of my favorite ones just because of how small it is, how concealing it is. I mean, if I'm talking to someone I'm nervous, I can sit here like this and oh, hey, yeah, how's it going? Good, awesome. Yeah, cool. Things go south, I can come out, pop, pop, and they're getting a nasty end of a stake in their eye. So this is a good concealable weapon where, nobody's gonna see what's happening until you come out and do some damage. This, of course, is completely non-metallic. So 3-inch tent / ground stakes. Let's get those out of the way. Okay, what do we have here? We have a hanger. Plastic hangers. Yes, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. Plastic hangers. Also this doohickey that I'm holding, completely non-metallic. So you can take a plastic hanger. All you are doing is cutting out a portion of your plastic hanger. That's all I did. Then what I did is I took one of those paint roller things here, you can see. I shoved my plastic hanger into the hole that's inside this. I wrapped it with some electrical tape, and now I have a very nasty poking weapon. This one's a little long. You could obviously cut it down, but shove it in my pants. It's there if I need to use it. Quickly come out. Easy for me to get a good grip on this. So anything, again, if you're creative enough, can become a weapon. Never discount, never, think it's not gonna work. Plastic hangers can do wonders. I've gotta find somewhere to stab. We'll stab it right there. All right, a few items left. Let me move these out of the way. This I think is a sprinkler riser. I'm pretty sure it is. Anyways, just, some PVC plastic, nothing fancy. And I actually started cutting it. The end right here, this is how it originally was. But I took my snips here and I started cutting, and then I was like, maybe I'll finish it in front of you. So all I'm doing is I'm just cutting to get it out. Now you can see that it's not perfectly sharp, but it's getting there. And then what I would do is I'd take my knife, I'd sit here on this stone. I'd do that a few times. It's getting there. And I would create out of this, piece of plastic for sprinklers. I'd create a weapon. This has got ridges, so it gives me a real good grip. Not gonna feel good. I would spend more time getting that edge a little more sharper for me, but get a piece of plastic from the hardware store, and you can easily turn it into something that is not gonna feel good. All right, ABS plastic. Let me show you what I got here. I'm gonna put my ring in my pocket so I don't lose it. This is a sheet of ABS plastic. You can make this very sharp. It does not feel good, and the tips will cut you if you're goofing around with it. Ask me how I know. Okay, so what I did with this one, this piece of ABS plastic, is I cut a small piece. Then what I did is I just happened to use some, this is toilet paper. I wrapped it around, and then I wrapped the toilet paper in electrical tape. This may not look like much. Let me see, I brought an orange out here, so I don't even know if you're gonna see it. No, actually, I'm gonna show you something different. Let's do this, because that orange's not gonna show you. We're gonna cut it open with this. We have this big piece of beef, okay? This honking piece of beef. So one, I just go in there. It doesn't take much to stab it in there. But if I slash, and you can, I don't even know if you're gonna be able to see that. Can you see the slash from that? Can you see all the nastiness? Can you see what it's gonna do? So ABS plastic is a wonderful item to use to make some type of non-permissive weapon. Just remember, it really is sharp. It's not something to be goofed around with. And just imagine what that would feel like if you're going to someone's throat, someone's eye, or if you're gonna hold it the other way, and let me spin it around. If you're slashing, it will absolutely do some damage. So consider ABS plastic, good thing for the job. As I was walking around at the home improvement store the other day, I happened to find this or see this. Of course, it got my mind racing because all I would do, I'd put my knife on there and I would go around it, and for the fun of it, I'm gonna do something super quick right now. I'll cut off a piece, leave that there. And of course, we wanna make it sharp on one end. There we go. I would take a paper towel, I'd take one of these rags or something, I'd make me a nice handle, and ooh, that's pretty darn sharp. Even though it's not the world's thickest plastic, it is still a weapon that will give you that opportunity to escape if the stuff hits the fan. So let me see what I can, just because I haven't used this orange yet. Okay, so it goes pretty quickly and pretty easily into that orange. So any kind of, yard sale sign or house for sale sign, something that's plastic, can easily, quickly turn into that. I think, I'm just making sure because I got so many different things. I think I hit on everything. I would highly encourage you to go back and review this training. I would highly encourage you, remember, to never ever break the law. Don't do anything illegal. But heaven forbid the Constitution got suspended, the Second Amendment got suspended, all chaos and everything. Maybe, hypothetically, there's a time in your life where you're having to go through checkpoints and roadblocks, and you may need to know how to operate in a non-permissive environment and have a non-detectable knife. So I know I threw a lot out there, but that's because I want to get you thinking. I want to give you many options to protect yourself. And if you live in a free state, as I do, you can start having fun and building some of these today. If you live in California, well, obviously move. And I think that pretty much covers it. If you have any questions, if you need anything, you can always reach out to me. You can always email me, and I'll be happy to help you.